Hi, welcome to Get Known, Be Seen WebTV. I'm your host, Trish Springsteen, and it's my absolute delight to bring to you my guest for this particular show, Sue Lester. Hi, Sue. How are you?
Hi, Trish. I'm well, thanks.
Awesome to have you here. I'm looking forward to our conversation.
Oh, me too.
And so before we get into having a really in-depth conversation with Sue, let's find out a little bit more about who Sue Lester is. Now, Sue's business is growing content. She's a mindset coaching programs, does VIP retreats, and also has a book, The Face Within, How to Change Your Unconscious Blueprint. Now, specialising in clearing head trash, and I love that term. Sue Lester is Australia's leading expert in optimising unconscious blueprints. Sue shares her insights with individuals, teams, and audiences worldwide, focusing on creating lasting behavioural change through mindset and identity shifts. Sue Lester published the powerful D.I.Y, Do It Yourself, head trash clearing book, The Face Within, How to Change Your Unconscious Blueprint, and is writing Answering the Call to Adventure. And I know Sue has had lots of adventures, so that'll be an interesting book. She writes for several national women's magazines and blogs and served on the Professional Speakers Australia Queensland chapter leadership team. In 2017, Sue was awarded the SIMNI International Small Business Woman of the Year. That's Seroptimist International. I don't know what the NI is, but it's Seroptimist. In her spare time, Sue has been charged by a silverback gorilla, canoed the Zambezi River, dodging hippos and crocodiles, trekked at high altitude in Nepal, India, Zaire, and Peru, walked across the Australian Simpson Desert with 16 camels, volunteered in a Kenyan slum orphanage, and much more. I think the much more sounds like it's perfect in that book. Sue uses her adventurous travel tales to inspire others to reach their potential. And I bet she's got a lot of tales. Sue, wow, where do we start? Do we start on the Zambezi? Do we start with the growing content? Where do you want to start?
Well, travel's always been a passion ever since I was really, really small. Travel and teaching. And so that's where my heart led me. And it's many tracks and many paths over the years, but they've all been connected in some way to travel and teaching. Even the work I do now is very much about sharing and teaching my mindset coaching clients tools and techniques that they can use between sessions, share with family, friends, colleagues out in the world. And last year, the infamous 2020, was meant to be the year where it finally absolutely all came together. My travel book was going to be published. I'd have international retreats, new coaching program. It was all my passions were going to come together in one beautiful...
Yeah, and it didn't.
Yeah, it didn't. So I went into a grieving process and I gave myself permission to put my book aside. And I'll pick that up again at the end of this financial year and take it from there. Because, when passions, you've got so much passion because we had travel for ourselves. My partner's German, so we're going to his family, Germany and Norway, see the Northern Lights and all sorts of things. So, but I mean, that's part of life, isn't it? Shifts and changes, all adventures. It's just a matter of using your mindset to shift it and change it and make them adventures rather than disasters or end of the world.
Absolutely. And I think that's something important that some businesses, not all, that some businesses were able to take from last year. Other businesses let it be like a brick wall and just collapsed. So those who were able to look at it as mindset and to shift where they were going have moved forward.
Some I know have done extremely well and great.
Awesome, did well out of it. I think there's been a lot of lessons from last year and not least of which is that people suddenly realise that their business could be more than just local. It could go global because they suddenly realise that there was ability to do that, and not as hard as they thought.
And that was funny. Two people say, well, how are you coping with, working on Zoom? It's like, well, I've been doing that for the last 8 years, working with international clients via Zoom. So, from my, Redcliffe, my home-based office. So it was business as usual from that perspective. So, I was blessed that I'd already made those changes, those choices in my life to have my business set up the way I wanted it. So, and yeah, that was an amazing opportunity for those who were able to shift and realize that they could actually create that beautiful life balance.
And it is a great life balance. It is. If you look at it from that and look at change being something, wow, new opportunities, rather than change being, wow, something's closed down. It needs to be a mindset. Look, I love that. I just absolutely love the term head trash. And I really want to find out, where did that come from?
That was a gift from a client.
Really?
I was working with a successful business coach in his own right, and I was helping him with some personal issues. And he invited me along to a workshop he was holding for 40 of his clients. And at some point, he called me up on stage and said, "Hey guys, meet Sue. She clears my head trash." I went, "Oh, I'm having that." Because it just sums it up so beautifully, that rubbish in our head that we trip over and, get blocked by. It's something, and calling it trash really means it sets in that idea that can be removed and disposed of, safely gone.
It does.
Which is the case.
We
So,
take our trash every week. We take it out and get rid of it.
Yeah. I know it's an American term, but, head rubbish didn't, that was what he said. So I've gone with that. It's something most people get. And really, if you don't understand head trash, you're not my client.
And that's a good one too.
Yeah.
I like that concept. Do you want to just explain? Because I think that's a great concept, because a lot of people watching this and might be starting their business or been in their business for a few years, and they're running into issues because they're not getting enough clients, or their clients they're not getting anywhere. They feel like they're bogging down. And part of my passion is helping them to make it easy for their clients. But part of it is that they may not be working with the right clients.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think I love what you just said about if they don't understand the term, they're not my clients.
Because
you want to explain a little bit more where you come from in that thought process?
When I first started out in my business, you take anything that has a wallet, basically. But it didn't take me long to realize that there were some people that were really easy to work with. They were a delight. They showed up on time. They valued my time, their time, our time together. They referred me to their friends and family. They made great progress because they were committed. They were open-minded. And there was I used to look forward to working with them. I still do, the clients like that. And yet there were others that it was like, oh no, it's almost time for Fred's session. And I get this sick feeling in my stomach, because I knew, well, if he showed up, it would be a battle, or it would just be a fight. I'd be constantly, felt like I was banging my head against a brick wall, no matter how many, ways over, under, around, how many different tools, techniques I tried to use to connect and get through. Some people are just hard work. And I found it would take a long time after those sessions to get myself back up again. Whereas the first type of client I mentioned, that was just like, wow, yeah, more of that. I can, have 6 back-to-back clients like that, and I'd be really still energized at the end of it. Whereas one of that other sort just drained me. And I would start being concerned about what was coming up next time I would be meeting with that client. So I learnt to say no, to basically not push them away totally. It's like, I think you'd be better working with so-and-so, and I'd refer those people on. So I'm still helping them, not leaving them in the lurch, but also finding, because if working with your client is a struggle, it means that you're not the best person for them. It might be that you're encouraging their bad behavior to continue. It might mean that there's just a personality clash, and it's just an irritation for them as much as it is for you. And if you're not getting on with the client, they're not going to refer. they're not going to probably do repeat business. Or if they do refer and give you repeat businesses, it's not the business you want.
No.
You don't want a caseload full of people like that who really drain you. So it's giving yourself permission to say, you're not the right person for me. And then if you're worried about money, and think about that time you're spending with those clients that aren't the right people for you, that really drain you and pull you down, that's time that you could be spending with people who uplift you, who are going to send their family and friends to you, who are going to be a delight and energize you. It's like being in a bad relationship. You can't meet the one you're meant to be with if you're with the one that you're not meant to be with.
Awesome.
So it's permission.
Awesome. I love it. People, stop, rewind, and just listen to what Sue just said again, because that's a gold nugget. If you take nothing out of this conversation, take out the fact that it's okay to say no, and take out the fact that it's probably better for you, your business, and your clients if you do so and say no sometimes, and pick the ones that are resonating with you.
And your family too, and your health, because remember, when you're stressed and your health starts getting stressed, then you don't have the loving patience you'd like to have for your family. So they suffer as well when you take on a client that you're really not meant to be working with.
Absolutely. And how long did it take you to get to that point, Sue?
Probably too long. Actually, when I first started my business, I was working out of a couple of natural therapy clinics. So I had less flexibility then about who I could say yes or no to. But as I moved more into my own space, it was much, much easier. And of course, as business picks up and the money's flowing in, it becomes even easier to say no. And then you can look back and go, well, I should have said no, 6 months ago. Would have saved myself that grief. It was so terribly wise in hindsight, I find.
Isn't it beautiful? Hindsight makes you very, very wise, which is
I also was working with coaches too. And I got a couple of kicks up the backside from different ones of those too, saying, what are you getting out of working with this person?
And that's an important point as well. To surround yourself with people who are going to support you, but also find mentors and coaches.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Give you that unbiased view and a little bit of a litmus test to see whether you're going the right way that you want to go.
And support is someone who understands, because I was the only first one in my family to start my own business. So, and until I got out there and started networking, connecting with other business owners, I had no one in my circle who had done what I was doing. So I found a coach invaluable, just for that moral support.
Brilliant. Which brings me to, let's just discover a little bit about what is exactly do. We talked about the head trash, which is probably sums it all up completely. But let's just have a look back and say, just give me a bit of an outline. What is your business and who do you like to work with?
I'm a mindset coach, I guess is the easiest way. So I create lasting behavioural change through clearing head trash and emotional pain. Some people might not relate to that term head trash, but they understand pain. And it can be a physical pain, emotional pain, and they can be intertwined anyway. So in terms of, as well as coaching one-on-one, I'm also a professional speaker, author. I run VIP retreats, so that's one-on-one retreats. And in the past, I've done workshops and webinars and lots of other things, which, is all part about, getting known and being seen. Absolutely. You get out and do whatever you need to do. But my passion is that one-on-one work.
Brilliant. And I recommend you, people watching, to have a conversation with Sue, if that's what's resonating with you, because she's an awesome lady to work with.
And you can book a complimentary chat via my website, and we can just get a feel for whether we want to work together or not.
Awesome. So how did Sue Lester go from, what was it, wrestling? No, being charged by a silverback gorilla and all of those adventures. When did it come to you that all of the stuff that you've been doing and you suddenly thought, I want to open my business? What was that turning point? Was it a slow easing, or was it sitting somewhere on the banks of the Zambezi thinking, you know what, that's what my next adventure is going to be? Which was it?
My adventures have continued through even after I got my own business, because I figure there's no point having your own business if you have to work weekends and not have holidays. Why bother? No, I was working for a national social enterprise. Short story. I felt I was shafted, treated grossly unfairly after having given so much. I was getting health issues out of overworking for them, basically. Yeah, I think about it as, raise the bar so high, no one could follow, not even me, It's like a honeybee on speed, buzzing around to do everything that they kept giving to me. And because I kept doing it, they'd give me more and more and more health issues. And they came up with a solution. And the solution just gutted me. It was so unfair. I just couldn't stay there. And I'd already started studying neuro-linguistic programming and other modalities to help me in my work. So with the help of my coach, I decided, well, I love the technology, love the tools. I was really good at using them in a therapeutic way. I'd start my own business. And it really felt like I was leaping off a cliff, hoping I'd find my wings before I hit bottom. It was very scary. But I couldn't do that sensible, where you're learning new skills and you're building up your business while you're keeping your job, and you gradually, no. I was just 100% into my job, and I just didn't have anything left over to do that. So I just had to leave, have a little less rest for a couple of weeks and pick myself up and get into the business. And that's, my coach at the time was just gold. Just such a lifesaver. It really helps to have people yelling from the side of the cliff saying, you've got wings, flap, use them, you know what to do.
Yeah. Awesome. So what was your biggest challenge? I think you've covered some of it, but what were some of the biggest challenges of starting a business?
Just knowing what to do. There's so much paperwork, and making sure you've got the right insurances, you've got your accounting system set up. You know how to actually get out there and find clients. And it's not just, I guess in the good old days, you'd put an ad in the paper, but now you need to be able to engage in social media. You need to work the systems, work out who your ideal client is, what you have to offer. There's so much involved, so much more than just, putting up a sign saying I'm open for business, come and see me. So getting my head around all that, and also thinking that I had to know everything straight away, because you don't. And I busted a ball and spent so much time and money, and particularly in the early days, doing courses on absolutely everything. And there were things that I didn't actually get to implement in my business until I got to a point where I realized, well, actually what I'd learned was out of date now. So I had to do a course again to be up to date. So that's one big advice. You just learn as you need it. So if you're not ready to implement it, don't do the course. There'll be another one. People always run courses. So, so remember that.
Because we do, when we start our business, we're so enthusiastic, and we're thinking, wow, this business is just going to be brilliant from go, and I need to do it all.
And another really important one, there are a lot of experts out there. Make sure whoever you follow, whoever you trust, you match your values. If they're, like in my case, if the guy's single in his, early 30s, no responsibilities, he can have a very different work ethic than if you're in a relationship, you've got a family, you want holidays, you still want your travel and all those other passions. It's more of a lifestyle. The values don't match. So you can burn yourself out trying to follow someone else's path, which really isn't yours. So it's important that you listen and take on board what matches your path and let the rest go.
I think that's a very valuable, again, and I'm going to tell you, stop, rewind and listen, because that is extremely valuable to be aware of, that you have your own path. Each of us is unique. And when you are looking for people to help you, you want someone who's sort of not necessarily the same path because they can't, but someone who's, as you said, the same values, same thought processes that take you, rather than someone who is going a completely different direction to you. It's very tiring and loss of productivity and time wasting.
And it can leave you feeling like you're a failure because you're not living up to their values, their expectations. Whereas really, I mean, when I finally stepped back and looked, I didn't want to be living his lifestyle anyway.
Absolutely.
You know, it just really wasn't a good match. So what's the point of following?
It's like you'll see so many people internet marketers, that, you know, 6 million, you know, 6 figures and 10 figures and all of this. Not all of us want to reach all of that straight away, or even at all. We want other things that mean success, because success means different things for different people. It's not always monetary.
Exactly. That's the key, working out your own definition of success. And one of my coaches got me to do an exercise once. He said, write down, you know, your perfect life for you, and then put a dollar value beside it all to work out what you'd need to earn per year to get your ideal dream lifestyle. And for me, it was 220,000 a year, not 6 million, you know. That was, I could do that without having to support a huge team and all the headaches that come with that, you know.
And we don't all want headaches that come like that. No. That's not necessarily why we started our business.
No, the point was to get away from headaches.
Yeah, not have more headaches.
Delusional, but anyway.
So
I like my boss though. She understands me. She lets me have holidays when I want them. So I think I'll stick with her.
It's really good to have a boss like that. Really good to have a boss like that. Okay, so your book came along. What got you to write the book? You know, the Face Within, How to Change Your Unconscious Blueprint. What was prompting that?
Ever since I was little, I always knew I'd write at least one book. And I'd had false starts at different times. I'd allocate writing days and different themes and whatever. Nothing really ended up driving it. But this, the Face Within, it was a way of sharing the concept of your unconscious blueprint, getting it out there. It's a resource for my own coaching clients. It was just, I felt like I needed to share to a greater audience than I could work with my passion of one-on-one. You know, it's the one-on-one, the one-to-many, the one-to infinity. And clients have said that, you know, working through it, reading it, it's like listening to, it's like my voice is in their ear. So I figure I got it right.
Awesome. Well done.
So it's to share and just to spread and help more people than I could just working one-on-one.
And I love that, because it's part of my passion about making it easy for your clients to find you. And there are those clients that will find you through the book, and those who will find you through your workshops or others. And so it's awesome to have that. How do you leverage your book? How did you found it when you've got the book? How did you find it working for you?
It's a great door opener. I think part of that comes from your self-esteem. You actually backed yourself. You're no longer one of the wannabes. There's so many people say, oh, yeah, I'd like to write a book one day. To actually do it and publish it, it's like suddenly, okay, so you're out of that big pool into this smaller pool. And I tend to forget that because I know so many people in my circles now who write books. You know, you've written several. So it's easy to forget. It's still only a smaller group. So it helps with speaking gigs. It helps, it's gifts for potential clients. I set homework action steps for my coaching clients out of the book, reinforces what we've already been doing. I've used chapters for webinar topics, for blog topics. I created an online course for an online academy, women's academy. De-Stress for Success was my online course. So that all came out of the book. And I mean, I've got years of material in there. It's really handy having it in one spot and you don't have to think twice about it. I've done a whole series of Facebook Lives, just opening up at a random page of the book and discussing the issues that come up there. So it's just endless. And I had a whole great list of different ways of still yet to come of leveraging it. You know, there's so much in there.
Absolutely. And I love that, because again, it's my other two passions, is repurposing and leveraging. And people, again, stopping me one, because what Sue has just shared with you is just a tip of the iceberg on how you can repurpose and leverage content you've got. She's got a book, and as Sue just shared, she's done online courses from it, Facebook Live, all of those things, and many more to come.
Podcast interviews.
One piece of content.
Exactly. Yeah. There's so much.
Awesome. I love it. And the next book, what is the next one? Would you
Answering the Call to Adventure. So Answering the Call to Adventure is a collection of my own adventurous travel tales from all over the world. And that's leveraging, now with the speaking gigs, I use an adventurous travel tale as a framework for my talks, and also as metaphors to, you know, help people better understand the learnings that I'm trying to share. That I am sharing, not trying, I am sharing. But it's seen through both the fog and wisdom of hindsight. So some of the stories are very much how I experienced them at the time. Others, it's looking through a different lens. So there's a mindset element in there as well. But it's also a way of sharing. When I look at it, I've done some amazing things, which I tend to forget about because that was just my life and I was just following my heart and doing what I wanted to do. But yes, canoeing the Zambezi, being charged by a silverback gorilla, all adventures, trekking in Nepal and India, South America, some adventures around Asia as well.
I love what you're doing with that, because it's something that people don't realize. We are the sum of all of our, not just our knowledge and our training, but we are the sum of all of our experiences in our life, which is what makes us unique. But many of us don't realize the benefit that those experiences, the lessons we learn from them, that you can take and put into your business.
And for years,
realize that.
Yeah, for years I resisted that. I had my personal life, that was by adventurous travel, and then there was a brick wall, and then there was my business side. And it took one of my coaches quite a while to convince me, a couple of years actually, to convince me to pull that wall down and start combining the two. And that's partly because I'm such a private person. So I could get out there on the stage and speak and, you know, do this and this and this. But I wanted to keep the travel, and that's me. That's the way, because I'm naturally an introvert, you know. I can go out there and do it with the world, but I have to come back to myself and be alone to recharge.
Absolutely, yeah. I would know that.
But the more, you know, the more I've gone down that path of incorporating it, the more rewarding it is. Certainly the speaking is a lot more fun because I'm combining the mindset, but also I get to relive some adventurous travel tales, get to entertain people as well as educate. So that's easier for everyone. You know, it's more fun that way.
Brilliant.
And yes, so it's just a matter of working out how the adventure is going to look in the future, given that international travel's out of the picture for a while yet, particularly the places that I want to go.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, but fortunately we live in an absolutely beautiful country.
Oh.
And, you know, adventures can be just driving home a different way or going to a different cafe and ordering a different type of coffee. You know, it doesn't have to be trekking in Nepal, or, you know, it doesn't have to be out there, wilderness, down and dirty adventures. Anything that gets you a bit excited about doing something different, that's an adventure.
Absolutely.
So that's a message through the book as well. It's just getting people to grab life more fully.
And I think I like that concept as well. Again, people take note of that concept, because it's the concept that stops you from becoming complacent and becoming too comfortable. And as I often mention, anybody who's following knows that when you become too comfortable and too complacent, you start to stagnate. And if you stagnate, you don't grow. And that's where the adventure, just a small change, as you've said, just doing something a little bit different becomes an adventure, but also it becomes the new impetus that gives you new energy to move forward. So tell me, how did you get across Australia was 16 camels.
Oh, I wasn't alone.
16 camels. I would say 16. That's a very precise number of camels.
I wasn't alone.
No.
So I didn't do a Robin Davison. I was with the Outback Camel Company. So in one of my previous lives, I was running the booking office for Andrew Harper. And I just love being out in the desert with the camels. It's just magic. So I started doing treks. And when I left that to open, to move into another position, which ended up my own business, I spent my holidays working as a cameleer. So, you know, just helping. It's just magic. I just love it. The desert is just so beautiful and peaceful, and I love working with camels. Yeah.
Because camels can be pretty stubborn creatures.
Oh, yeah. My mother's training came in really handy. She used to tell me when teaching me how to deal with toddlers and whatever, she said, don't argue with them. Just distract them with a different toy, or let's go over here. And it works really well because, you know, these camels are massive. You know, I'm tall, 180 centimeters, and the top of my head's top of the shoulder of some of the big ones. And if they don't want to follow you, they won't. No. So I remembered my mum. So I went, okay, so we need to go over there to load up. Let's go this way instead. I led it around the circle, and we ended up exactly where I wanted to go. And she thought she was getting her way. So, you know, things entwine. But yeah, magical experience.
Awesome. And that's something that you've brought into your business, and you're speaking that concept. I can see it going through what you do with your clients and how you work with them, the mindset.
Yeah, it's very much an adventure.
Very much. Changing that. Awesome. So what would be the 2 tips that we could leave with our people watching? 2 biggest tips that you've come from your adventures, from your business, from your books?
Oh, believe in yourself.
Mm.
And if you're struggling to believe in yourself, hire someone like me to clear your head trash, because otherwise you're going to end up the other end of your life feeling a little hard and bitter and resentful inside. There's an author, Dervla Murphy, and she described it as having a heart full of the broken or the shattered glass of vanquished dreams. Mm. And I thought, I never want to feel that. Mm. And my grandmother experienced it, and I saw it in her face as she was realizing that that's what she was experiencing. I never wanted to do that. So I made choices to follow my heart. So that's one, believe in yourself. Get help, expert help. You know, there's people that have walked the path before you who have got great skills. People like yourself who can, you know, fine-tune speaking skills. That's invaluable. You don't have to be an expert at everything. Just, you know, choose your niche, be an expert in that, and hire experts from other fields to help you along your path.
Find your potential and live up to it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Exactly. And that's living your purpose. So if anyone's not sure what their purpose is, it's just to be the very best you possible. Easy.
You mentioned
not easy, simple.
Oh, yeah, it's never easy, but
it's simple.
Yeah, it's simple. It's what I say. It's as easy and as hard as that. It's easy and as hard as that. And it doesn't even have to be hard if you put yourself around with a lot of group of people to help you. It really helps. It really takes you where you want to go. Now, you said you had an opportunity for people to be able to work with you, to contact you. So I think there was a link that you had, a free explore session.
Yes. So I presume you put the link below?
I'll put the link below here.
So it's basically just a, I guess you can call it a discovery session, a chat. So if you feel like you need a fresh start, relationships, business, health, just yourself, reconnect with yourself. You want to have a chat about how that might be possible, what it might look like, get a feel for whether we want to work together. You can book in for a complimentary chat, and there's a link down below. There's also a link on my website, suelester.com.
Brilliant. People, you get an opportunity. Even if you just want to ask Sue how she got charged by a silverback gorilla, book in and have a session with her, because that conversation is going to lead you to something else. I can guarantee it. And that's something else could be what Sue can help you with. So do take an opportunity to do that.
And if it's not me, I might know someone who's a really good connection for you who can help you out too. I'm a firm believer in connecting people.
Connections are important. I think that would be something else that you would share with people, is that the connections you've made. You mentioned about getting out there and networking when you started your business and that.
I still do.
And still do. You need to. You can't stop doing that. But those connections are what will help you be where you want to be.
Absolutely.
We aren't an island. No one, not one of us is an island. And connections can make you bigger.
I think that's a mistake some people make at the start, is that they look at you and go, okay, so no, you're not my client. You're not going to buy from me, so I don't want to talk to you. Not realizing that, okay, I'm not your client, but my brother is, or my client is, or my networks. So it's being open to connecting with people rather than just being interested in sales only.
I love that. Because it's something that seems to be, when you first start your business especially, it's the dollar signs and the money.
Well, there's pressure to pay the bills.
Yeah, it helps, but it can get in the way.
Oh, absolutely.
Of being able to connect on a bigger stage or a bigger area, widen your horizons, and let people know. It's like getting known, being seen. When you do those connections, it's making it easier for your clients, because your clients could be someone else's client.
Exactly. And you want to be known and seen for the right reasons.
Absolutely. It helps. It helps. I mean,
it helps. You don't want to be that one that, he's in it for himself.
Yes. It's not about you. It never is. It's about the people that you can connect with and the people who are looking for you. Always. Always. So we could talk. I really wanted to get into a lot more on some of the adventures, but I think that might be another one. When your book comes out, the new one, we will get back together.
Lovely.
Because I think that would be awesome to see how you've linked your adventures in your book. I think that would be an awesome one. So we'll keep an eye and we'll keep in touch.
Well, that's 36,000 words written already. So
love it. Love it. There's something about birthing a book, isn't it? And I know people use that term, but it really does feel like that, because it's like you hide that book.
Yes.
It's beautiful. And then you've got to actually reluctantly let it go. And it is like, wow. It's a pretty awesome moment.
Yeah, it's awesome. Scary awesome.
Very scary awesome. Because you get that mind flash in your head saying,
well,
no one's going to want to read my book.
Yeah.
At some
Even
stage,
though other people are telling you, yes, we do, we're interested.
I'm looking forward to it. Thank you so much for being here.
It's been a pleasure, Trish.
Delighted. Thank you. People, you've been watching Get Known, Be Seen on WebTV. I'm your host, Trish Springsteen. We've just been having an absolutely awesome discussion with Sue Lester. And we've covered everything from camels, from gorillas, to head trash, to potential, to people being able to believe in themselves. There is an awful lot of gold nuggets in this particular interview. So I do get you and urge you to stop and rewind and go back and listen, because sometimes one way through isn't going to get you all the gold nuggets. Sometimes you need to stop and rewind, think about what Sue has shared. There's been an awful lot of information here and things that will help you in your journey, in your business. Now, Get Known, Be Seen WebTV is for those people who suddenly have decided they've got 60 seconds of insane courage. They're going to step up and let people know exactly what they're doing. They've got a new book, a new business, a new app, whatever it is, a message, and they've suddenly think, hey, I'd like people to hear about it. Love to have you as a guest on my show. Just my contacts below, PM me, contact me, leave a comment, and I'd love to have you here. It's also an opportunity for people to share their expertise and knowledge and strategies and techniques on how to get out there and get known, be seen. And you'll know that a lot of my guests have those techniques and strategies. So if you were a guest who would like to share your techniques and strategies for that, again, love to have you on my show. Just contact me. I'm Trish Springsteen. I'm a creative business consultant. I'm a multi-international award-winning mentor, Australia's leading expert in empowering introverts, and speaker and coach, and most specifically your host here. However, if you would like me to be on your stage, whether it be face-to-face or online, or a guest on your show, I would love to share some of my experiences and my strategies and some of my story. So I have a link below. You can contact me there, see my media sheet. I'd love to be there for you and share what I'm doing. Most specifically, people, as I said, I'm your host here. And below this is a big button. Okay, maybe it's a medium-sized button on your screen, but it's a button that says subscribe. So just make sure you hit that subscribe button so you'll never miss a show with guests like we've just had with Sue. You'll always be notified. Thank you, Sue. It's been a delight to have you. Thank you, everybody. Until next time, live up to your potential. And if you need some help, see Sue. She's really good at clearing out head trash. Bye.